Hello everyone, Ollie here from ℽ𝕧𝕗𝕗 Cinema, and oh hold on, something wrong with my screen. Let me change that real quick. There we go, black and white, as it should be for today's video topic. Today, as you can see by the aesthetic already, I'm going to be reviewing the new Marvel partnership with Amazon Prime Video series, Spider-Noir. And I have watched it in black and white, because there's two options. You can watch it either in black and white, the authentic, I think it's authentic black and white, and the digitally altered colour version. I can't remember what it's called. I had to watch it in black and white, and that's how you should really watch it in black and white, because the series is set in the 1930s, which perfectly captures, and it just makes fucking sense to watch it in black and white. And if you don't, well, that reveals your true colours, eh? For being a simpleton and not watching what you should watch, which is its true form. Because I believe this show was shot in black and white with black and white cameras, which is very cool to hear. But of course they had to bloody digitally make it colour so that the people that moan, oh, it's black and white, it's not the 30s anymore, it's the fucking 30s there. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, I just get very frustrated when idiots online moan about the itty-bitty stuff that is just nonsensical. So, sorry about that. Anyway, let's get to the actual show itself now. Now, my thoughts going into this... Actually, no, sorry. Let me just quickly say, because obviously I did my Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book review, which was the first one I did of a comic book. And at the beginning of that video, I stated that I had a couple of announcements. One being that I'm making this video, the Spider-Noir review series, the series for the what? I'm making this video for the Spider-Noir series. I guess that word there. But my initial way of structuring this review was that I was just going to watch each episode, and after each episode I would review my immediate afterthoughts on them. But the more I reviewed them down the line, the less I had to say. So, and it just, I don't know, to me it just makes sense now just to review it all in one go. So that's what I'm doing now. And let's get straight into it. So, before I cut myself off earlier from me talking about how I was going to structure this video, I was going to say my initial thoughts coming into this series. I actually rewatched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because obviously that's where I knew Spider-Noir from. I'm sure he was in comics before the films, because obviously I think he was also in Across the Spider-Verse, the second animated film. Yeah, that was where I saw him from, and he's pretty cool. Like, I really liked that he was just an all black and white character, obviously voiced by Nicolas Cage, and now obviously Nicolas Cage is actually playing him in this live action series, which is really cool. I just thought he seemed like a really interesting character, and especially to have his own series is going to be very cool to see how his character will be entailed, because again, I had other than the tiny bits that we got in those two Spider-Verse films thus far, we didn't really know too much about him. Well, obviously he wasn't the main focus. It was Miles Morales that was the main focus of the story, the character. But the fact we now have a Spider-Noir series, Spider-Man Noir. I mean, he's called Spider-Man Noir, but I guess they called the show Spider-Noir because it just clicks better than just Spider-Man Noir, I guess, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, Spider-Noir. Yeah, I was intrigued, especially when I heard that it was going to be shot in black and white. You were able to watch it in black and white. I mean, you could have the option of watching it in black and white and colour. but I knew immediately that I had to watch it in black and white because, again, like I just said earlier in my little bit of a rant, I think it is definitely the way to go, and especially now that I've seen the show, all episodes, I can definitely say you should watch it in black and white, because it looks amazing. And I'm sure it looks amazing in colour, but it just, I don't know, I might watch one episode. I probably should have watched one episode to kind of counterbalance my opinion, because I might have gone, actually, you know what, it does look good in colour, but black and white is the way to go. But because I haven't, I have to be honest and say, watch it in black and white, then maybe watch it in colour to see the difference, and I don't know, maybe you can decide that for yourself, but I would say watch it in black and white first. So that's kind of my first opinion, I guess, out of the gate of my thoughts. But I was intrigued to see what the series was going to be like, and yeah, seeing that Nicolas Cage, I mean, it had to be Nicolas Cage because he voiced him in the Spider-Verse films, so it only makes sense really to have him in this show. No, I wouldn't say, I don't know, would it be weird if it wasn't him, but I think it's just the fact it's his voice. We heard him in the Spider-Verse films, so I don't know, to me it makes sense. Maybe to you guys that are watching, some of you might think, actually, maybe somebody else could have been fine, but I think Nicolas Cage was the right choice, and makes sense, so I'm glad we got it. So yeah, so that's basically my before thoughts. I don't really have much else to really add on to that, but yeah, so let's get into actually, I need to mention there's going to be spoilers, because it's going to be hard not to mention spoilers, because I'm going to be talking about certain plot points, things like I'm going to talk about my opinions on certain plot points, character stuff, and all that kind of jazz. So be warned, if you haven't watched the show yet, please go watch it first if you're able to, and then come back. But unless you don't care, or yeah, continue watching if you don't care about the spoilers, or just don't mind, or whatever. So it's just a warning, because people might get a bit angsty about it. But without further ado, let's get into my positives, mixed negatives of Spider-Noir. Okay, starting off with my positives for Spider-Noir. My first one, which I've already touched upon earlier, which is of course the aesthetic of the show, the black and white, the time period, the fact that it's set in the 1930s, in the Great Depression period, which was a very dark time back then, and it's obviously set in New York City, which is where the Great Depression really was prominent. Yeah, you see a lot of background characters, a lot of homeless people around the streets and stuff of New York. So I think they did a great job at portraying the Great Depression period, as well as the 1930s aesthetic, like the music. Well, we'll get into the music in a little bit, but most of the music works for me. There's one or two that I'll get into a bit later on that I'm like iffy on, but for the most part, for what they were going for the time period, the aesthetic, again, I think they did a really good job at doing that. So actually watching it in colour would be a bit weird, having, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I need to look at it in colour, but watching it in black and white, definitely great. And yeah, they did a great job on that. My second positive is going to be Nicolas Cage as Spider-Noir, aka Ben Reilly. Obviously he plays a private investigator, a PI, Magnum PI, anyway. But yeah, he's a private investigator, which is another great setup thing. The fact that this whole show is an investigative noir series, something that I rarely watch, but having now watched this, there's definitely something that I would really like to get into, is watching more noir detective shows or films even. And yeah, it's definitely piqued my interest in exploring more of that genre. So again, great job with the investigation stuff, the mystery as well. But yeah, Nicolas Cage as Ben Reilly, aka Spider-Noir, or the Spider, as he's named in the show. He's actually not named Spider-Noir, which is kind of a meta thing, because it's like his name is Spider-Noir, but I guess because it's the 30s, oh, he's a spider, he crawls like a spider, which I guess makes more sense, because if they just call him Spider-Noir, so yeah, it actually does make sense. Spider-Noir, but we know why he's called Spider-Noir. But the Spider, I definitely like. Obviously, his character is very cynical, and he has a lot of back and forth. He has a bit of banter towards his character. Nicolas Cage does a great job of playing Ben Reilly and Spider-Noir as well, or the Spider. I love, which I guess moves on to my next positive, is the Spider-Man scenes, or Spider-Noir scenes, should I say. The web slinging, the opening scene of the episode, which is not really a spoiler because it's like the opening thing. He's swinging through New York City like Spider-Man does, and it's so-called the narration on the top saying, "Am I a normal man? Yes.
Am I an extraordinary man? Yes.
I can't remember what he exactly said, but if you've seen it, you know. But yeah, he's great. I think he's again. I'm glad that he was picked to play the live action Ben Reilly, Spider-Noir, and yeah, I think he does a great job at playing the character. Can't really think anything apart from that in terms of Nicolas Cage. I think he does a fairly good job at trying to play comedy but also play a serious role, and it's kind of difficult because when he does, especially later on in the series, with the serious moments where he requires emotional, he needs an emotional hitting, if that makes sense. He does try his best, but obviously it's Nicolas Cage and he's kind of crazy. He's known for playing these eccentric, kind of funny roles, and sometimes you can't take him too seriously, and it kind of just falls flat sometimes. And there are a couple of times where I was like, I know I should feel like emotional and like bad for him, but sometimes you can't help but smile because when he kind of goes a bit crazy, that's kind of Nicolas Cage, and it's kind of like, it's like I remember watching. I'm going to give a bit of it's kind of sidetracking here, but when we watched Longlegs, me and Dusty, Dusty will obviously know if he's watching. Nicolas Cage obviously plays Longlegs, and there are a lot of times where he was acting all crazy, like singing, saying, "Nah!
Let me in now, and it can be now."
And a lot of people, and partly including me in the cinema, were kind of laughing at him doing those things. And Dusty was like, why are you laughing? It's fucking weird. And it's like, well, it's Nicolas Cage. He's crazy. He's a manic guy, you know? Like, he's known for playing these crazy, eccentric, being just absolutely bananas type of characters. So that's why we kind of just naturally laugh at him whenever he plays these kind of characters. So just thought I'd say that because, again, that kind of sort of ties it. I know Longlegs is a completely different character to Ben Reilly, but in terms of the quips, the funny stuff, it's Nicolas Cage, and he plays it well. So Nicolas Cage is great. My next positive, Brendan Gleeson, which was actually a nice surprise because I actually had no idea that he was actually in it, let alone the villain of the show. And I've already forgotten his bloody name, but the villain name, oh god, I'm going to have to put it in the edit. I'm not going to bother looking it up, but I thought he was good. He was actually quite good. I mean, he's pretty damn good in everything that I've seen him in. And actually he's an Irishman, who he is in real life, so it's great that he's playing his own thing, I guess. Like, I think, again, he's basically playing Brendan Gleeson in a way, but he's a little bit more messed up as a character because he's the villain. I guess he's kind of the main villain, but there are other villains in there that kind of sometimes get on top of him. Not literally on top of him, but as in, like, kind of, they're more messed up as a villain sometimes, even more than Brendan Gleeson. But Brendan Gleeson was a great villain. I should actually probably look his fucking name up. I've already forgotten. I'm terrible with names. I apologise. Silvermane, there we go. Silvermane. I had actually never heard, which you can probably tell by my fucking forgetfulness of his name, but I'd never heard of the villain Silvermane before. Because the only comic I've actually read, a superhero comic, is actually Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I'm not very good with my comic knowledge because of that. So The only villains, Spider-Man villains I know is from films, and yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard of Silvermane. Obviously, got a couple of other reoccurring Spider-Man villains which are more prominent, like Flint Marko, aka Sandman, who is also good. He's kind of a back and forth kind of character, like whether he's good or bad. I don't know if I'm going to go into anything further than that, but he was good. The actor, I don't know the actor's name, I'm not too familiar with his work, but the guy who played Sandman, Flint Marko, because I know Spider-Man 3.
Flint Marko.
Yeah, he was good. The other villains, I was about to say Brainiac then, that's fucking DC. The fucking weirdo with the electrical shit. I don't think it's Electro. I don't even know if they even mentioned his name, like his supervillain name. I know he must have had an actual name, but I don't remember his villain name. But the guy with the American Italian, like, yo there, that was terrible. That was terrible. I was trying to imitate his voice while watching it to try and remember how to say it for this, but I've already fucking forgotten, and that was a terrible impression. But the Italian American kind of thick Italian New York accent kind of guy, the big dude with the electric powers. I mean, he was kind of in competition with Silvermane, Brendan Gleeson's character, as kind of like the main villain. And then you also have, again, not too familiar with this villain either, but the guy with the thick skin, the thick kind of armoured skin, which was the first one that they cured with the antidote, which I get, again, spoiler, which was, yeah, but I've forgotten his name, but him as well as the villain as well. So you got Brendan Gleeson, Sandman, the electric dude, and that thick armoured bloke. I'll put it in the edit. So those are kind of the four main villains, or five. Is it 4 or 5? 4? Brendan? Yeah, 4 or 5 villains. So yeah, the villains were good. They were good. They were serviceable enough. But Brendan Gleeson, because he's Brendan Gleeson, he's my favourite. What else? Interesting seeing Cat Hardy as well, who most of us know as Black Cat, who never actually turns into Black Cat in the show, which I was wondering if she actually would, but she never actually turns into Black Cat. I think it's just a different iteration of Black Cat, but her name's Cat Hardy. I believe that's her actual name in comics. She is just Cat Hardy, a regular human, a regular human. And she's good as well. Again, she's another character kind of goes back and forth. Like, is she on the good side? Is she on the bad side? She kind of flip-flops back and forth. She's kind of an interesting, mysterious character throughout the whole show. And the actress does a great job at playing that type of character. Characterization. So, yeah. She's good as well. I forgot. Ben Reilly's worker at the private investigation company. I've forgotten her name already. I feel really bad. But Janet. His secretary, Janet. There we go. Fuck it out. But yeah, Janet's great. Teaching that young boy proper English. Yes, so Janet's great as Ben's secretary. I'm trying to think of the other characters now. Oh, you got Robbie Robertson as well. I'm trying to look at all the all the fucking characters. But Robbie Robertson, the freelance journalist. He's great as well. Actually, him doing his own, because we got kind of two or three kind of plot lines throughout the whole show, and at one point we follow Nicolas Cage or Ben Reilly, and then you follow Robbie Robertson at one point as well, trying to do some journalism, which is cool. So again, the back and forth between the two characters, and when they get together as well at points, it's great. Yeah, most of the characters I liked. We talked about them. Oh, right, we're going to talk about, obviously, the setup of the whole show is the fact that Ben Reilly at the beginning narration talking about his past and him saying that he hung up the mask, his whole costume as the Spider for like 5 years because in the midst of fighting crime and all those things. He lost his wife Ruby, I think her name's Ruby Williams. I think they were engaged at the time before she died. She drowned in a car, and therefore that made Ben obviously hang up his Spidey costume as the Spider and leave it for 5 years. And then something came up, and it's a funny moment in the show where he goes back to his old apartment, which is where he hid away his suitcase with his costume in it. And he comes in as like a plumber, and he goes, "Hi there, yeah. This is where the bathroom is, yes." It's really funny, that bit. He has his own fucking glasses. He puts a hat on and his own bloody costume, his own disguise, whatever. So that was a funny scene where he got his costume back. And as when we see that he's gone through the window with the costume on, the new people, the new people living in his old apartment were like, "He's not a plumber, is he?" And it's like, no shit, is he not a plumber? He was acting weird from the start when you met him. So yeah, that was a cute scene. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, again, I don't want to bring up everything because I'll be here all day, but a lot of the stuff here from the show I really like. Now, I don't know if this should be a mixed or a negative. As I mentioned near the beginning, talking about the music, there was one track which happens to be the theme song when the intro comes up, which is named Saving Grace by Kirby. Apparently fucking Kirby made this shit. No, different Kirby. But I like the song, by the way. I do like the song, but I don't know if it fits this show because the aesthetic, it's black and white, it's set in the 30s. Would this be playing in the 30s? I don't know. I wasn't around in the 30s to know, but I don't know if it just didn't fit. Again, I like the song, just don't think it fit the show itself and the actual intro and stuff. But the intro itself I did like. So yeah, that I don't know if I should have it as a mixed, but I'll say it as a mixed because I do like the song, but I just don't know if it actually really fixed that. So that's my mixed. I don't know if there's any other mixed. In the show. Actually, yeah, there is another mixed. Now, I'm aware that 𝕬𝕚, with the little knowledge that I looked up before watching the show, apparently he has his own, he's like a robot or something. He's very metallic and stuff. I think, I might be wrong in thinking that. Yeah, he looks like fucking Cyborg. Look, 𝕬𝕚. Look at him, he looks like fucking Cyborg here. Obviously, this is on Wikipedia, I know. Wikipedia? But yeah, he looks very, villainous. And, spoiler alert, he doesn't end up like that by the end of the show, which, again, this is a mixed. I think what we got of Brendan Gleeson as 𝕬𝕚, again, don't know 𝕬𝕚 apart from the show, so, he did great for what they gave him. Would have been nice, maybe, although it might have been a bit too rushed if they had included like his change in the metal suit, whatever you want to call it, might have been a bit too rushed. Maybe it would have been, but it would have been nice maybe to see that. But it would have been interesting to see Brendan Gleeson in like a supervillain suit, because again, this is the first. I think is this the first superhero role he's done, or his first role in a superhero franchise? I might be wrong. I'll probably correct myself in the edit if I am wrong, but yeah, this is the first time I think I've seen him in any superhero stuff. So maybe that's the kind of nitpicky mixed aspect. Maybe I'd like to have seen him as 𝕬𝕚 himself. Yeah. Any other mixed? I don't know if do I have any like proper negatives? I don't know. Maybe the fact that it was too short. I don't know. I don't know actually what the general consensus is of the show. Like, if people wanted more, if there should have been more, like if the show should have been expanded more, because 8 episodes, because TV shows were like, what, 16, 20 episodes long per season, but now they're just 8 episodes. just like on the HBO Max, on Prime Video. It's just all very short. And some people take issue with that. So I actually don't know what the general consensus is in terms of the length of the show, and if people wanted more, or if they thought he was just right. Would I like to have had more? Yeah, I probably would say I'd like more. Well, which is why hopefully maybe they'll do a second season. I don't know if they've greenlit a second season now, or if they're having conversations, the studio's having conversations about having a second series. But I guess it all comes down to viewership and the overall consensus, if people actually like it or not. And I think most people are liking it from the little that I've heard. But yeah, I hope we do get a second season. Although, do we need a second season? There might be some arguments out there saying that maybe we don't need a second series. But there are people like, oh yeah, I want to see another Nicolas Cage Spider-Noir series. But I wouldn't be mad if we do get one or don't get one. But I'm happy with where it ended, I think. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say. I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about, if I'm being honest. I just checked the time and like, shit, we're over 20 minutes in. We're at least over 20 minutes in. We're about probably like 25, 30 minutes in. So, that being said, I don't know. I think I do like the show. I like the show. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah. I'd like more if we could, but if we don't, I wouldn't be mad if we didn't, but it would be nice if we have a second series, if it needs a second season. But anyway, apologies if I've not gone into too much detail with anything else, but I think that's all I have to say. I'm losing my voice already, so yeah. Yeah, I think I've said all I've had to say. That's all I've got on my mind. So, let me know in the comments below if you've had a chance to check out Spider-Noir, and let me know what you think. Well, let me know what you thought of the show. Did you watch it in black and white? You better have done. Or you maybe watched it in color. Yeah, just let me know what you think. Or if you haven't watched it yet, are you considering watching it? Yeah, all that shit. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, like I said, if you weren't there, if you didn't watch my review for the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic at the beginning, another thing I stated that we are getting a Out of the Cinema review out later this week. We were meant to do it tomorrow because today's Wednesday the 3rd of June, which is hopefully which is when I'm going to get this video out. But we initially were going to review Masters of the Universe tomorrow, the Thursday the 4th. But I had something pop up, so I couldn't do it, unfortunately. But luckily, we're going to do it Saturday instead. So we're going to do it tomorrow, Thursday, but now we're moving it on to Saturday in the afternoon. So it'll probably be out over the weekend, the Out of the Cinema review, but I don't think I'm going to see you guys before then. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there'll be something that I want to make, but I don't have any plans to. But if I do, then cool, I'll see you then. But if I don't see you before the Masters of the Universe Out of the Cinema review, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.